care of issues if you live together in any arrangement that you want to legally. But marriage itself should be between a man and a woman. Next question. Yes, sir. We have three of you at the table, so I know several of you at that table. I'm in trouble if I start naming everybody.
My name is Ken Burke, and my question is, whoever elected governor will be facing a state budget, which they're predicting will have a $5 billion shortfall.
Right.
As governor, how will you balance the budget?
Well, first of all, it's going to be more than $5 billion. Sadly, in large measure because of the oil issue. We had extreme pressure in the Panhandle. Some of it's been felt in the Keys, some of it maybe here, where we not only have economic stress as a result of that, with businesses that are losing money, and some of them, like fishermen, don't have a job right now, and we know they've been hurt. The whole advertising of this, if you will, by the media, the earned media out there every day, has driven tourists away. They didn't come for the season in the Panhandle, which is the summer. And we're going to see a shortfall in revenue, local governments as well as the state government as a result of that. So it may be $6, $8, $9 billion shortfall. I hope it's not, but it could be. We'll have a claim, by the way, for all that shortfall against BP, against that escrow account. And my office is working very hard right now as Attorney General to make sure that we prepare those claims for the state and help the local governments do that too, so we recover fully the losses. But that's not going to help us in the short run, because those claims, although they may be continuing, they're not going to fill that hole. So the answer is, number one, we're not going to increase taxes. Number two, we're going to make some very tough choices. We're going to have to. I don't believe in raiding the trust funds. I think the money that goes for gasoline taxes for highways should go for highways. The money that's designed and dedicated to go to education should go to education. And so that means at the end of the day, to make this up, in my opinion, the budget I'm going to send to the legislature is going to make some alterations. We're going to have to consolidate some agencies. We're going to have to end some programs. I'm not telling you we'll end all agencies, but we're going to certainly have to end some programs. At least put them aside for a while. It doesn't mean they necessarily all go away. And some of these things are just duplication. The Department of Environmental Protection goes out, and the local water management district goes out, and they do different jobs when they go to get permitting and things. There are lots of that sort of thing that goes on. Why can't, sometimes I know there's a site that's needed, but most of the time, why can't one person go out and do that? There's a lot of waste to be cut in the state system, and we have lots of good people working on it right now for me to figure out exactly where, but we're going to reduce the spending and tighten the belt and eliminate some things. We're not going to increase taxes, and we will have a balanced budget. You have one, right here. I'm going to come to all three of these ladies at a time because they've all been patient. Two of the ladies, I should say, they've both been patient.
Your second to last question.
All right, and I guess I go right to this table. I committed to that, to this table, haven't I?
Thank you, General. My name is Janet Vaughn. Thank you for being here today. I just want to clarify, I think I heard you say that if you were in Congress, you would have not voted for the stimulus money.
That's correct.
And that there was a character flaw in your opponent because he took stimulus money for his business.
While opposing the stimulus, not just opposing the bill, but opposing taking any of that money as well.
Thank you for that clarification. In the legislature this last year, there was a resolution, a memorial to force the federal government to balance their budgets. Yet the state of Florida couldn't balance our budget without that stimulus money. So my question is, are you thinking that's a character flaw in the leadership of the legislature that they balance the budget with the stimulus money?
Well, I don't want to characterize it as a character flaw. What I do want to say to you, I'm going to back off this mic. I've been up on it too far. I'm not used to sitting right there in front of you. I believe that the legislature has done as good a job as it can not to have made any mistakes with respect to this and trying to protect as many people as it could by taking whatever money was on the table at the time. But we're going to pay the piper. That stimulus money is not going to be there. And that's why we're going to have this larger amount that we're talking about in part. There are also other reasons for that. So it's all going to come on my watch. I'm not going to criticize the past legislature, but I'm going to tell you when I'm governor what we're going to do and what we're not going to do. And we're going to make the tough decisions that we're going to make. Because that, I remember when I was in, Bernie McCabe will remember this, and certainly your former sheriff, Everett Rice, would have remembered it. When I was in Congress, the Clinton administration had all these cops on the street program, and very popular among police and sheriffs. They wanted to add new police to it. It had a 3-year sunset. You got all the money for 3 years, then you had to figure out how to pay for it. And unfortunately, most of the police officers disappeared. They were only hired for the 3 years. It may have helped for a couple of years, but it didn't help for the long term. And that's what's wrong with the stimulus bill. We threw it out there thinking, has the spending really solved our problem? Maybe we've helped a few people who are unemployed. Maybe we built a few things we wouldn't otherwise build, a few infrastructure, but most of that stimulus bill had nothing to do and solid construction and long-term investment in infrastructure. It had everything to do with unemployment insurance, adding to various programs or social benefit that we can't say were bad programs, but they did not produce jobs. They did not produce a stimulus to the economy. The only way we do that is the lowering of the tax rates, the lowering of the regulatory burden, the unshocking of the free market system to allow the small businesses to grow and create jobs. That's how you create jobs in our state, and that's what I want to do as your governor. And that stimulus bill would do that.
Last question.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you for coming this afternoon. I'm Kim Black, and I'd like to talk to you about Senate Bill 6 for a minute. If you recall, during this last legislative session, this was an issue that many of us were strongly in opposition to, specifically local control and the unconstitutional issues related to that. So we know that you were publicly in favor of Senate Bill 6, and we were questioning why, with the unconstitutional issues related to that legislation, as Attorney General, that you didn't come out against those issues. So when we're facing $26 million shortfall right now in McCollum County schools, that legislation would have cost us to set aside $45 million for merit pay on top of the $52 million shortfall for next year. So if you please address your position on it.
Well, first of all, Kim, you and I can respectfully disagree over whether that bill was constitutional or not. What I said about it was that I would have signed it and then corrected its flaws, because it did have flaws. And I will tell you, as your next governor, that I'm going to produce a bill and give it to the legislature. One of the differences between Governor Christ and me, although I respect him in his own way, sits by me, we make some decisions together and still will, is he has not produced a lot of proposals to the legislature, subsidy other than the budget. And that's not the way I'm going to go. I think the executive should propose, the legislature should dispose, I still have my veto power, and then I have to carry out the laws, whatever they ultimately are. And so what I'm going to propose, and I'm already getting together, I already have some teachers who proposed this legislation working with us. We have some school board members who have been critical of it, word to me about it. We're going to come up with a merit pay plan that works. Now, maybe not everybody's going to agree, you're never going to get everybody to agree, but that's how you need to proceed on a lot of these tough issues. I also believe we need to phase out tenure, but it needs to be phased out. We also need to have more choice in the schools. We need to do things like I saw when I was down visiting at the the institute, one of the Burnham the other day. We've got kids that are going to high school that have science teachers who do not know all the science that they need to know. And one of the reasons why is because I'm told that the teachers can barely, in many cases, keep up and keep ahead. Why? Because they're probably not getting the continuing education that they need. So we need to focus on giving teachers, especially who teach science subjects, more opportunities to keep up so that they can train and help train our workforce and be able to do the things that we need to do in order to be able to teach. And so I have a plan. You look at my education plan. It's up on the website at gomccollum.com. And I know that's the last question, so I've got to close by telling you that I really appreciate the chance to be with you today. I hope you will go to the website and look. I think there are real differences between myself and my opponent. I've told you most of those that are out there. He has some pretty flawed policies you didn't let me ask about today. For example, he proposes cutting $1 billion out of the state prison system, and it's only $2.4 billion a year. I don't know what he's doing with all those prisoners. But the bottom line is, there are differences. You know me, you don't know him. Peel back the onion. You're going to find when you do that, Rick Scott has flaws. He has a character flaw along the way. And you know my record. You know I'm a Ronald Reagan conservative. I'll vote like that, and I'll be the governor to govern like that. Thank you. Thank you very much.